Hi everybody, hope you're all well. I'm okay, thank you. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm going to try and get my hair cut today, I think, because as you can see, it's needs doing, so yeah. So I'm going to get that sorted today, I think. I'm going to trim my beard as well, I think. Get all of that sorted. I like to just keep it kind of under control these days. I used to let my hair grow long and scruffy, but I'm kind of like, wanting to try and keep on top of it now. Anyway, hope everyone's well today. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just, yeah, I don't really have anything to talk about right now, but I guess we'll just kind of make it up as we go along, really. So I was talking about wanting to get back into busking again, but yeah, I kind of like fell out of it for a while, but just kind of, yeah, I need to take some responsibility with it, really, and you gotta learn from your mistakes and try and just adapt and just try and improve on it. Otherwise, it's your own fault, really. So I have to really kind of, take some accountability and just be like, I was, I could have done better or something. You gotta just kind of, you know what I mean? All right. Yeah, that's busking, I said. So doing street performing. Anyway, thank you for the likes, everybody. Come on, guys, hit that like button. Welcome in 18 people that have just joined. Hope you're all well today. What's everybody up to? Everyone's having a wonderful day today. So, yeah. What do you guys want to talk about today then? Anyone got anything? Let me know. But it's kind of a drink, I think. Hello, Roger. What type of performances? Like singing mainly, I think. Yeah. Okay. Can you stop saying that in the chat? We'll have to time you out if you're gonna keep saying that. I mean, I'm just gonna have to delete those messages, I think. But maybe I should try and put that as a blocked word, but I'm not sure how to do that right now. But I'm gonna put you into a timeout for 5 minutes. I'll just get rid of that. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get that sorted today, I think. But I need to get some more creatine as well, I think. So I'm gonna do that as well. Yeah. Do you get a lot of people singing What You Mean? No, I mean, I do it. I do it in town, but it's just, you just get people coming past and like, I might randomly tip you, but it can be a bit difficult. Hello, Lego. Hello, Riley. How's it going? Hope you're well today. But, I haven't really made that much doing it on most occasions, but a lot of that could be down to not really giving eye contact, as well as not really being very confident and not really being outgoing, and that could hurt your sort of results, basically. Will I ever make my own music? I've thought about it, but it's easier said than done, because to make good music, you're going to have to probably have some kind of good equipment for that. You're going to have some probably produce it. There's a lot of different things that can cost a whole lot of money. It's very risky to do unless you already have an audience that will buy it. Then do you like dogs? Yeah, I don't mind dogs. So there's a lot of money involved. It can cost thousands of pounds just to produce a record. So I'd have to be at a point where I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, there's people that do things cheaply, but then it's probably not going to be very good quality though. Like if you're doing it in your own home studio or whatever, and you're doing it, with your own, if it's not very good equipment or whatever, and you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's some good like free equipment out there, but it's not going to be as good as like the more professional stuff, really. I remember trying this thing out called Audacity. Hello, Oscar, how you doing? Like a thing called Audacity, which is like a music software sort of thing. Well, it's like an editing software that you can use to like, you put your sounds into it, and you can just layer up different tracks and stuff, and you can put different effects on it. But you can put like delays and reverb and things like that on it. So it's pretty cool, but yeah, I can't actually get it on my device because I've got a Chromebook. That's the thing. So I might have to get a new laptop at some point because it isn't very good at certain things. Like the Chromebooks are a bit limited. The only reason I got it was because it was just so cheap. Because I needed to replace my old one, so I just got a Chromebook. And I was like, oh, it's cheap. It should be all right. But then I got it, and I was like, maybe I should have paid a bit more money and got a decent one. AI beat making. Oh God. Yeah, AI is like doing everything now, isn't it? Like I suppose you could make your own music with AI, but it's just, there's no soul in it really, is there? I've actually tried making AI music, but I don't know. It's just, there's no soul in that though, is there? It's like, but it's crazy because there was this AI band that got to the top of Spotify charts, I think it were. And it's mad, isn't it? Because have I seen Hagrid and Harry music video? It looks AI, like AI. No, I've not seen that now. But there's just so much AI slop now, and you're trying to compete with that now. I was saying with like the YouTube thing nowadays, it seems to be harder to compete just because, the algorithm seems to favor AI content now. Hello, Victoria. How you doing? Hope you're well. Nice to meet you. If you're new here, people, please give me a follow or subscribe. Hit that like button as well. We've got 6 likes. We've got 8 people watching. Come on, guys. Let's get those likes up. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Got to be original out there. Yeah. Yeah. Precious metals are going up. Okay. Oh, Mayar. I don't know how you pronounce it. Why do you call yourself Victoria then on here then? I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, but then if they're going up, but then you might buy it and then it could go down again. So I just find that sort of stuff risky, unless you're wanting to have it as a very long-term investment. I just don't see the point in getting a load of precious metals personally. It's not financial advice or anything, but unless you're wanting to keep it for 10, 20, 30 years, then maybe it could be for like a retirement or something. I don't know. But I'd rather put it into some things that are a bit more stable and a bit more secure. But yeah, even longer than 10 years potentially. I mean, if you want it to be something a bit more secure, then a high yield account would probably be better for that. Because there's a chance that the price might go down in 10 years. You just don't know. Like anything can happen. That's the thing. I suppose that's the same with anything really, but when it comes to like say S&P 500, sometimes it might have a couple of years where it's down, but then generally speaking, it's going to go up in value because all these big companies generally are going to keep on going to the moon. That's just how it goes, The big companies keep getting richer. I suppose you could argue that we are adding to the problem by investing in them. If everyone stopped investing in them, then they would all just collapse. So you could argue that, yeah. Gold used to be £5 an ounce. When was that? It must have been a long time ago, but But I was looking at the trends, and it can have a lot of troughs and stuff that can last many years. So you don't know if buying in right now is a good time or whatever. And it's like with crypto, but they're very volatile, and I don't like doing stuff like that. Now, I know they say high risk, high reward, but it's like I like to have some degree of certainty and some, kind of, so just to kind of have an idea of where things are going. But there's things like high interest savings accounts, like what is it called, like a regular savings account where you lock it up for a certain period, and then you can take it out and you get some interest on that. It's probably better than just putting it in in my opinion, probably better than a regular that's in like a regular it's in like, it's called a regular savings account, but it's in like just a regular account, I meant, where you just kind of have like fucking 1% interest or whatever it is, which is just absolutely shit, because the inflation's probably at like 3-4% now, whatever it is. It's absolutely just, prices of things just keep going up. Most things just keep going up in price, and it's like, it's just shocking, really, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Yeah, definitely. If something's happening in the US economy, it tends to affect the UK economy as well, because of trade partners and things like that. And we tend to get kind of like some knock-on effect happening to us as well. So it's important, if say things are going on in America, then it's like it's going to affect us. But some might say, well, gold might go up in price if then people start investing in gold. But I don't know. But then if everyone just sold their gold, then the gold would then, I don't know. It's just, it kind of feels like a bit of a Ponzi scheme, because it's kind of like what they call a zero-sum game. Like a lot of these things, like crypto, it's like a zero-sum game, like a Ponzi scheme type of thing, where in order for someone to gain from it, someone else has to lose. So, I mean, someone might explain why that's wrong, but it's like, that's how I see it. Because it relies on a whole bunch of people putting money into it. But then if everyone took their money out at once, then it basically, what they call it, shorts the the currency, whatever. It's like, call it shorting or whatever. I think that's what it is anyway. I could be wrong, but it's because what happens is you can have like a bunch of people where they put a load of money into it all at once, and then they sort of like can then rug pull it. These things, but you could say with things like Bitcoin that's not so bad, because it's a more generally a more kind of it's not as volatile, but it's still pretty volatile. But there can be certain things that happen where people just randomly just pull all their money out because of economic instabilities. Like, say, if something happens in the market, we end up with a bear market, and that can last for however long. Gold ounce of silver for £30, that's worth £50. Right, how long ago was that though? But then it's like, was that, the inflation, is it above inflation rate or what? Because we have to kind of look at, is there other investments that would, give you more returns or something, or it was early this year? Well, that's good, but it's just, it could have gone the other way though as well. Like, I don't know. Now there's this whole thing of like what they call DCA, or dollar cost averaging, where they'll put a bit in like each month or whatever. Like, say if someone puts like £100 a month into like some kind of account or something like that, that spreads your risk out. So that could make some sense in like to like kind of spread your risk out over the long run, and sort of like, because if say there's some down periods, then maybe that's a way of doing it. Because let's say that there was to be like some kind of dip in the market, and then you just kept putting bits in, but then it goes up, and then you end up with actually making money from that. But to me, like, if say you was to put it in like a investment fund, then you get like dividends off it. So if the value of the company goes up over time, but you also get the dividends. But there's also things like property investing, which is like, which would be, I guess you could say that's a bit more secure, but there's more work involved. It's not as passive. You have to kind of, unless you get managers in, which they could then eat into the profits. But there's a lot of things that you don't invest in stocks. Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, I guess. But yeah, with it's just, it could be hard to get into property unless you do something like, I remember there was this thing where you can invest in shares of property rather than like actual like rather than actually investing in full property. I suppose another option would be to, if you could find a few people to join up with somehow. But hello, Rivers Boyle, how you doing? I hope you're well today. Thank you for joining me. Like, if you could put your money into like, say, like, you know, a few people got, say, a few thousand each, and then they just all pool that money together, and then they can buy up a property to then rent out and make money from that, potentially. House prices are overpriced, and so is land right now. I know, it's mad, isn't it? It's like, I was looking at some land, bits of land, and I'm like, you know, looking at buying land to then maybe just live on it. Maybe just live in a static caravan or something. You could get static caravans for like next to nothing. But the problem is the land that you have to get to put it on can be quite pricey. So, okay, whatever, just go away. Right, yeah, anyway, so that's that. So yeah, just but like I said, you know, just, yeah, house prices are overpriced. Land is overpriced. So much is like overpriced nowadays. I guess we've just got to try and come together and put resources together, and then I think that's probably going to be the best way to go about things, really, because if we can't do it on our own, then we've got to try and team up, I guess. Refurbished but safe storage containers. Are you talking about to rent them out or something? Because you could buy some like garage spaces and things like that, and then rent those out, I guess. That could be an option. But yeah, you're talking like storage containers, like sort of, you're talking like storage units or something, or what? But yeah, things like garages can be quite cheap, but yeah, that's the councils are turning them into houses. What's that? Is it going to be houses for friggin' migrants or some shit? I don't know. But yeah, because they need to sort out the homeless, right? The people that are homeless on the fucking streets first, you know? Because if they're fucking putting fucking immigrants into these houses, then, you know, then they should be like dealing with our own first, you know? They can invest all this money into fucking sorting out fucking, you know, oftentimes illegal immigrants or whatever, putting them up in fucking hotels, but yeah, they can't deal with the problems of the people in this country. Who's them? But anyway, so that's rant over. But yeah, just yeah, storage units. Are you talking about, or I don't know, but these are like I remember like watching a thing of a guy that was like kind of living in there for a while. I'm not sure I'd want to live in something like that, and I don't think it's really legal anyway. But it's like it just looked really quite not a very good environment. Um, but on that channel, I saw a thing about adverse possession as well, and I think his name was Oliver or something, and he was like talking about alternative lifestyles and stuff. But yeah, but I was thinking, yeah, if you could buy garages or something and then rent them out or something possibly, but then you'd have to find somebody to rent it out to, I guess, which could be a bit, could be easier said than done, but because I wouldn't want to buy something and then have it just sitting there for ages without it generating anything. So how would I know that it's gonna? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not that hard. I guess there's always people wanting to rent out places like that, but you have to look at the demand for it and stuff like that, and in the area, see what kind of demand there is. Yeah, it's legal when they refurbish them health and safety guidelines. All right. Okay. I don't really know like too much about that stuff, but I do know that oftentimes regulations can get a bit ridiculous, and it actually prevents a lot of people from just starting up their businesses and things. Like all the red tape and stuff, but there is certain things I guess that are necessary, but I think that a lot of it's just it almost feels like some things are designed to just keep everybody from like starting up, because yeah, it can just add a lot of complexity into it, and then people are like, oh fuck this, it's not even worth it, especially when the startup costs like fees and things like that before they even get started, which just makes it more complicated. You have to go through a whole process. There might be a whole bunch of like planning permissions and all kinds of shit. So yeah, just anyway, well, I have all sorts of ideas and stuff, but like yeah, either people could maybe like split on a house and just have it as a rental or something, maybe like that or whatever. Because we are like houses tend to increase in value over time. Hello, Jade. How you doing? Hope you're well. Good morning to you. Yeah, depends on the area, but yeah, capital appreciation and all that. But it's another thing that they fucking tax you on, isn't it? Capital appreciation. There's so many things they tax you on. They tax you on the air you breathe before long, It's crazy. Yeah, so but yeah, I hope everyone's having a good weekend. It's a bit miserable here at the moment, but yeah. Anyone been doing like Christmas shopping or anything? I haven't, to be honest with you. I don't really do much for Christmas, to be honest with you. I'm just not interested. It's just kind of boring to me, really. It's just there's all this hype around it, but then when it happens, it just feels like, oh, here we go again, another Christmas day. Just feels like Groundhog Day. I don't know. But I mean, it's good for like the kids and stuff, but like, I don't know. But yeah, it just feels a bit sort of boring, to be honest. Just the same old shit, same Christmas songs all the fucking time, It's just like at some point, are we just gonna like kind of stop doing that? But I wonder like how long this is gonna go on for. Is it just gonna go on for the foreseeable future? Keep playing the same old fucking shitty ass Christmas songs, that they just keep playing every year like it's some kind of ritual. Anyway, whatever, you know, just thank you for joining me today, everybody. But yeah, I do need to try and get back into the busking and stuff. I think if I was a bit more, hello Theo, how's it going? Hope you're well. A bit more kind of engaging with the crowd, I could do better potentially. Because that's sometimes my problem is that when I'm doing things in public or whatever, and even when I've been live streaming at times, I would kind of like be struggling to like engage with people. But you too, okay, thank you. Yeah, where's everybody from? Yeah, so welcome in. Hope you're all having a good day so far. I've got 16 in the house. Well, I'm doing fine, thank you. Yeah, just talking about money and how to invest money to, you know, make more money in the long run. Because someone was talking about investing in gold, but just talking about the risks and the rewards and stuff like that, and how to do it in a way that mitigates risk and stuff like that. So, yeah, of course, there's risk to everything in life. That's something that we have to accept. Hello, Custard Silverco, how you doing? Yeah. Oh yeah, I got some like sea glass the other day, but I kind of just yeah, because someone just gave some to me. So yeah, so like I'm hopefully going to try and sort something out. But good the rain stopped. Yeah, it's not raining actually. Can't tell if it's raining. It doesn't look like it. It's just dull and just kind of grey at the moment. So this is supposed to be a bit unsettled at the moment. So yeah, yeah. Where is everybody from then? But I don't know. The thing is, if I'm gonna sell this stuff, then I at least want to be making like £20 an hour minimum. I would even argue £40 really should be what I'm making, because if you're like doing your own business and you're responsible for all that, I think that you should probably be making a lot more than what you make for, like, say, a job or something. Good, yeah. I mean, at least, at very least, £20 an hour rate. So that means that it includes the time it takes to make the stuff as well as the time to actually distribute it and all that kind of stuff. People should be people should appreciate the time and the effort that you put into it. So especially if there's actual skills, I guess £20 an hour for like low skill, but I'd say £40 an hour plus for like high skill. Like if there's a certain kind of like level of whether it's art or whether it's something that involves some kind of skill. Now you could argue that some of these things, they're not that much skill, so then 20-30 pounds an hour probably. But if it's something that's more high skill, something that takes more skill, I'd say then that even more, because that's something that has some level of yeah, I've been putting down £24 per hour for trade work. It should be more. Right. 24, is that what you're getting? £24 an hour? Yeah, that's about double the minimum wage, which is, it's not bad, but the problem is that the more money that you make, then the more taxes you're having to pay on that money. So like, yeah. Plumbers and other traders charge over £250 per day. Yeah, you could say it's because they have some skills. You have to be skilled to do that, but you could argue that if you get good at like doing arts and crafts, then there's a skill to that as well. But I guess you could argue that, well, things like plumbing and stuff like that isn't stuff that people necessarily want to be doing as much. But then again, why would people do it if they don't want to do it, sort of thing? I don't know. I don't take home that as car to run tools, replace storage, etc. Doesn't that come off taxes or something? What you call tax write-offs or something. Not sure what the trade day rates are up north. I'm guessing you would have thought they'd probably be quite high. some of them I'm out hearing get even up to like six figures, so they might be getting upwards of maybe up to about. It depends. It depends on their expertise and all that kind of stuff, really. But maybe up to like. I guess it depends on how much they work and stuff like that. If they're working long hours and stuff, but price and overhead for costs. Yeah, I would have thought you'd get some kind of tax write-off or something. But then again, it still comes out of your earnings. But at least then it's like you don't have extra taxes to pay or something like that. But I don't know. But yeah, it's just so you might only get like £20 an hour, which is not great really if you're doing some kind of trade. But yeah. So like when you take out all the expenses, but £20 an hour is like what? Let's say that's I mean it depends on how much work you get as well. And in some businesses, work isn't always guaranteed as well. So you could argue that you've got to diversify in that case and try to, not just rely on one stream of income. A lot of time is spent estimating, collecting materials, so you only get paid for hours booked to a job. So what is it that you're doing again? But yeah, that's the thing is that when you have all these extra hours that you don't factor into that sort of thing. Thinking to do more gardening next springtime. Yeah, you have all the time of having to like deal with taxes or whatever bullshit. You have to look at things like your reports and stuff, like look at your profits and losses and all these different things and try to make sure the it's in a positive balance, and you have to kind of look to see how you can do things better. And so like that's all stuff outside of the job itself. So yeah, whereas I suppose the good thing is, say you go to a job and you just do your hours and then that's it. You don't have any stress to deal with in terms of how is this going to be profitable and stuff like that. You're just there to do your job and that's it. But at the same time, oftentimes there's no progressions, especially nowadays. Mixture of trades, really, right? Yeah, I guess it's just like do what you're into. I thought you said you was into like craft work and stuff like that, or do you do any of that stuff on the side or something? But I suppose things like fitting bathrooms and stuff can be a good one because people always need that stuff doing. So yeah. Fastest at large floors and porcelain floors. Or you do craft at home, yeah. Yeah. But it's like, I mean, but when you're doing some kind of skilled trade, yeah, you should be probably getting about £40 now, which might sound entitled, but in this day and age, I mean, £40 an hour I think is, a decent wage. It's not bad, but it's also, it's not amazing either. You might be getting probably £40 an hour. That's about £1,600 a week. So probably about 6-7 grand a month. So it's still not up to six figures, quite, but probably about 80 grand a year or so, which would be a good wage, but it's just yeah. So you got to think like, is it worth it if you say only making £700-800 a week or whatever, and you're not even taking into account any expenses, you might only get £600 a week, let's say, or whatever, when you take out every expense or whatever. Yeah, 80k a year would be good. But apparently, though, I was looking at the stats on 70k a year. Even people that are earning 70k a year, 49% of those are living paycheck to paycheck, which means that they're just kind of like, by the time their next paycheck comes through, they've already blown all their money, basically. You could say part of it's their own fault for not making good financial decisions, whatever, but it's like, you could say it's, lifestyle inflation, a lot of it. You tend to buy a more expensive home, maybe rent or mortgage somewhere. So they might be spending like 2,000-3,000 on a mortgage, for example, which already blows about 30 to 40,000 a year. So already almost half of that money gone. And then they might be spending 10-20,000 on food, and then another 10,000 on other expenses. Before you know it, it's all gone. Because especially depending on where they live as well, if they live somewhere quite expensive, then 70k a year is nothing. Even 100k a year is kind of like, not really great when you take into account, like, for example, if you're somewhere like London, where if you went out for a meal, it kind of set you back quite a bit. But because most of the people that have that much money are probably people that are living in cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, etc., where the cost of living is going to be quite expensive. So most of the people that, it's like if you're making 70k a year and you're in like up north in a, quite a, low income area, then you can live like a king pretty much. But unfortunately, most of the people that earn that much are probably not going to be in the most cheaper areas. Yeah. But it also depends on how many people live in your property and if you're sharing with other people and stuff. Because someone could share with like 3, 4, 5 people, and say like you split your money 5 ways. Say like you have, let's say if it costs £2,000 a month on a mortgage, and it only costs £400 each, which wouldn't be too bad, or even less. If you could even probably find in some cheap places that same property for £1,000 a month, and split that 5 ways, you get the £200 a month mortgage or something. So it comes down to that really. But then maybe those people could just save up for a while and save up, let's say, 20,000-30,000 pounds, and then just buy it. But I guess there's problems of doing that if, say, someone wanted to leave or something. So that's the only issue of that, really. You would all have to know for certain that that's what you want to do. Because if you don't have the money to then, I suppose if one of them wanted to leave, then it would all be kind of split between the rest of them to pay it off. But it wouldn't be too bad, I guess. But they'd have to make sure they've got the money to do that. Otherwise, so you'd have to make sure everyone's responsible with their money and stuff, and they have enough of a buffer to so things like that. But it can be an option for people to then, it just spreads out the burden, and just kind of that way it sort of means that you can live on quite cheaply. I mean, like things like heating and stuff like that is going to be a lot cheaper as well, because you're living in a house that's between you. Like even this place I'm in right now, I could probably have a couple of other people here if I wanted to. I could just fit them in somehow if I had kind of I don't know, if I really had to, sort of thing, I could find a way to do it. But it just comes down to are you willing to do that? But I know that Richard, he lives with some guy because they split on a mortgage, which means that it kind of just splits up the cost. Whereas if you're trying to buy your own house yourself, then it's going to be more expensive. Even if you got, say, like a 1-bedroom flat or a 1-bedroom bungalow or something like that, it's going to be still going to work out more expensive than, say, 2 bedrooms between 2 people. And in some cases, they'll even just like, have multiple people in different rooms and stuff. I guess that could get a bit extreme, but it all comes down to like how much you really want to, reduce your costs of living and stuff. My housemate is having a baby soon, so I've got to go find peace elsewhere. All right, what do you mean? You're just talking about moving a house or something. Moving to another house, I mean. So there's times that could happen where like you might have different kind of needs and stuff like that. Like someone might need quiet, where someone might want to have a baby, and that could clash with that. Might be easier to go somewhere warm until springtime, maybe. It's up to you, really, isn't it? But yeah, if we all like kind of tried to, I don't know. But again, it depends on like different things, really, doesn't it? And if you find someone that has the same kind of goals and in life and stuff like that, you have shared goals and shared ambitions, and you just want to try and all come together and maybe put some money together to maybe you would invest that money, and then you could just, because it's just a lot easier when you do it as like a joint effort rather than trying to go it alone. They're saying team together, everybody achieves more. So if we all come together as a team, then we do a lot better. I think cooperation is key. It's about combining your efforts together rather than, I think you could say it's the problem of this whole thing where we become so individualistic, which, is not necessarily good, is it? We become so kind of in our own bubble instead of trying to work together with people and try to help each other to to lift each other up. Winter is often better for working than summer, as what else do you do in winter keeps you busy? True. Yeah, whereas in summer you want to be out in it, don't you? Yeah. But then again, most of the seasonal jobs will be friggin' summer jobs, unless you're in like somewhere where it's really cold and you do like snow removal and stuff like that. Obviously, in this country, we don't really have enough snow for that to really become a thing. But what's that silo lifestyle individualism? You mean like single income? There's that. What is it called? Sinks. Single income, no kids. That's what a lot of people are now, isn't it? Or dual income, no kids. There's all these like ridiculous like terms that they come out with, in it, like sinks. Might be snowing after next week. Yeah, but this country wouldn't be it wouldn't be enough to really make money from removing snow, I don't think. Whereas in somewhere like Canada, they regularly get snow, or Russia as well. Oh, silo on own right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's that whole thing of like, I guess part of it as well is this thing of feminism and like the whole thing, I don't need a man and all this kind of stuff. But then they start getting older and then they're like, they start regretting their choices. I'm not saying everybody does, but a lot of them will have these copes of like, some of them even go on friggin' medications to deal with it. It's mad. But yeah, it's but then these women, it's like, you know, to these women out there, I'd say, don't say I didn't warn you. Parts of Scotland, they have snow clearing vans, tractors on certain roads. Yeah, I suppose if you're up in like the Highlands, then yeah, you then that could become a thing. But for the most part, the UK just generally isn't going to have enough snow for that to really be a thing. If you're in some remote areas. Yeah. But I don't know, it's just times have changed and I don't think really for the better, to be honest with you. I mean, they're expecting workers to be more productive, but yet pay them less. Yeah, you could argue that jobs in some cases are easier now, but the actual productivity is actually higher because the use of technology and things like that has allowed them to make more profits from their employees. So therefore, they should be compensated more because of why should they take more profit and then relatively pay the workers less over time due to inflation? You know, it just doesn't make sense, but it's not meant to because they're just greedy and they'll just pay the least that they have to. Oh yeah, Finland, I bet, yeah, they'll have yeah, Finland would be cold up there. Trucks would empty the snow in and pile it up, then it melts in spring. Yeah, yeah, I've seen times where like it's been like pretty bad, and then it would like be piled up into like a yeah, because it would take weeks and weeks for it to melt. It would just be there in a lump of snow, basically, to try and kind of clear the roads and stuff. And but minus 24, blimey, that is cold. Yeah, yeah, that is cold. Yeah, that is mad. That. I think it got like quite cold a few years ago in some like remote part of Yorkshire or something, but around here it doesn't usually get as cold because of where we are. Yeah, yeah, the nighttime, yeah. Um, I know it got like quite cold a few years ago in like Shropshire. If I remember, it was like minus 19 or something, which for this country is very, very cold. But that would have been in some remote part of Shropshire somewhere where it's like, yeah. But I think in Scotland the other year it got down to like minus 23 or something. We had this like cold snap, and that was up in like kind of in some high part of Scotland somewhere. But that doesn't usually get that cold, but it's yeah. The day it's closer to minus 5 and the houses are built well, triple glazing. Yeah, we'll have to have that to keep the heat in, really, won't it? Yeah. Yeah, we have like double glazing here, but so single glazing isn't good, is it, really? the thing is, I was thinking about this. If I was to like live in a friggin' static caravan or something, that could be a bit hard to heat up in winter or something. So like, I'm not sure how you would heat it up really, but there's got to be some way of doing it right. Maybe there's some way of going about that, I guess. Don't go out if it's below -30. I don't blame you. Those countries as that at that point is dangerous. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it will be dangerous. That. Not sure I'd really want to live somewhere like that. Really. I was looking at this thing. It was like above Norway somewhere, one of the coldest places on Earth. It was like what was some island somewhere? I think it was. I think it's the most northernmost place, and apparently you don't need a passport or something. Yeah, Svalbard, that was the one. Yeah, yeah. It's like there's actually a name of a band. Don't know if you've heard of them, but they're I think they've split up now, but yeah, there was this yeah, Svalbard, and it's just yeah, I wouldn't want to be somewhere like that really. It's like that. It's UK territory with some other Nordic countries. Oh, really? All right. Very dry. Yeah. But then they say like in the UK, while doesn't get so cold, but it feels cold due to the humidity and like the relative humidity levels that we have, which makes the cold weather exaggerated. It also exaggerates the hot weather as well. So when it's like we get things like freezing fog and stuff like that, and which just makes it very, very bitter, versus somewhere where it's more of a dry cold. Hello, Banku Gaming, how you doing? Hope you're well today. So it's more of like a dry cold, versus here it's like a more humid kind of cold. That we get this kind of mist or fog, whatever, and it's whereas in summer we get like humid, hot. So even when it's 26 degrees or whatever, it can feel like it's in the 30s or above because of the relative humidity. I can imagine being somewhere like Florida when it's 30 plus and it's like, or even somewhere where even hotter than that, say like in some other country like, say like in the tropics somewhere, 35 degrees or whatever, and like feeling like it's 60 or something. I'm like, screw this. This would be like horrible. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. Anyway, so hope everyone's doing well anyway. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. So everybody's plans for today then. Yeah. Yeah, someone's put a message or a comment, just replying to that. So it might be Roll's video, so yeah. So I'm seeing this thing on this guy called Ned Fulmer, and it's just so cringe. Walking get daylight, what do you mean? Yeah, there's this guy called Ned Fulmer or something. Hello, Call Your Life, how you doing? I hope you're well. And he was like cheating on his wife or something, and then he made a podcast to like address it all. It's just like, what the fuck? Oh goodness. Yeah, thank you for the like. It's just so cringe. I don't know. And people are like watching this shit. Oh God. I don't know. The internet's just full of drama and just like the people who are like not have the best, they don't have the best morals seem to kind of get pushed out more, and yeah. But there is some that do end up like getting everything taken off them. So there was this guy called Jack Doherty, and looks like he's lost everything pretty much. But this is the thing, you know, you're doing stupid things. Yeah, it can get you like that instant fame, but at what cost though? Be careful what you wish for, because it's a long way to fall from there, isn't it? It's probably better to have a slow, gradual climb rather than, you know what I mean, than to just like rise quickly just to then fall off hard. That's what they do. They don't think about consequences. That they think that they can just do whatever they want and they'll get away with it. But doesn't work like that in a lot of cases. People get, you know, thinking that they can just do anything. Like, look what happens with these people who become predators and what have you. Gets to their head and they think they can just get away with it. Fucking hell. Anyway, who's still in here then? I hope you're all well today. So, yeah, I'm going to get my hair cut today, I think, because it's about time. I need to sort this out as well. I'm going to give this a trim before I do that, I think. It's cold here. Yeah, it's gotten a bit cold, but it's not been too bad. It was just really wet yesterday. Doesn't seem to be as wet today, but anyway. Yeah, I want to go out doing some like busking again soon, but just been a bit, I don't know, I just haven't really got around to that. I just need to try and just kind of, you know, I just, yeah. I need to have more of a presence, I guess. Like, I need to have more eye contact, and because oftentimes I just look at lyrics and stuff, but then the problem is that I wouldn't be looking at the people. But it was probably just like an excuse not to look at people, as that I was looking at my lyrics or something, because I'd find it a bit uncomfortable seeing people's reactions and stuff. But then you've got to just not really you gotta like you know what I mean, not really care about what other people think, because otherwise, you know, if you're just so worried about other people's, I've only visited like 2 other countries, so you know, you got to make sure that you're showing confidence and all that. Because if you just come across as kind of awkward and whatever, then that's not going to do well for you. And you probably actually get more people laughing and more people trying to mock you if they see that you're not very confident as well. Because if they see a weakness in your character, then that can also just kind of give them like sort of a thing to attack and whatever, and like you have to put yourself out there as somebody who doesn't give a damn. And maybe before doing it, I should meditate and be like, spend a few minutes just to kind of visualize going out there and performing to like all my fans or whatever, and be like, think of it as though like I'm going out and performing to 1 million of my fans or something. Maybe not that many, thousands of my fans, so that, you know, like it's just a kind of mindset switch that you need to have in order to to do well with these sort of things, really. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can really sort of get back into it. I just need to, like, yeah, find that kind of, because it's like we all have a potential in us, but it's just about tapping into that, getting into that mindset. It's like, if you don't believe in yourself, then who else is going to, kind of thing. Like, I want to be able to go out and just absolutely kill it. So, you know, actually, yeah. So I've got to not really sort of. The problem is that sometimes it would take a while for someone to even, like, send even a little bit of donations, whatever, to me, whatever. The problem is that, so, because I'd have this kind of reliance on positive feedback and then feeling awkward when it goes quiet or something for a while. But part of that is because I've not really got that sort of, not really that sort of confident to begin with. So that's something I need to just change. So one day I'll just go out and just be like, you know what I mean? Like, just go out like I'm the shit. Anyway, is everybody okay then? Hope you're all well today. Yeah, sometimes even like I come on live and then if it's not going the way I would have wanted it to, then that can also make me a bit sort of be thinking like kind of like almost like imposter syndrome kind of thing. And it can feel awkward and you think, what am I even doing on here? But then I would just kind of go because things are not really working. But yeah, sometimes you have to just kind of reflect on things to think of like, what could I do differently? What could I do better? Because there's always room for improvement, I believe. No matter how good you think you're doing, there's probably a way that you can improve it to make it more efficient or whatever. Or yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know how long I'm staying on here for, but I mean, I could try start up a new one, but probably not. We'll get some daylight if it's not sunny. I found a chiropractor. All right. What's that for then? Lower back disc. All right. How did that happen? Was that some injury or something? I was looking into an exercise called Jefferson curls, which is where you bend down and you sort of using spine flexion, and like there's some people saying it's dangerous, but then they're saying how if you do it properly and you don't have any pre-existing back conditions, then it can potentially be done safely. But some argue that it might even help prevent some back injuries from like by strengthening the spine so that it can handle more stress or something. Oh, deadlifts with bad form. So how did how did that happen? Is that as in like how bad was the form or something? I mean, I've heard like stuff happening like that because people were saying that my form's bad or something, and but I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's one of those things where curving the lower back and stuff. Was you wearing a belt or anything, or some say like belts can help or something, but after moving furniture and stones, all right. So is it like a combination of those things or something? Because I've heard some people get like back problems, or you didn't wear a belt, all right. So I did like a few days ago 170 kilograms, but people were saying I was using bad form, but I don't know, like, I mean, I don't think the lower back was curved much. I mean, my back was curved, but like, there might have been a little bit, but like, when it comes to lifting heavy, then your back's gonna naturally round somewhat. Hi Mike, how you doing? I hope you're well. The deadlift pulled it, then moving the stone set it off again, right? Yeah. So like, what should you do then? Kind of like take some time to let it recover or something. You have to kind of like listen to your body and just kind of not really try to overstrain it. If it's already become weakened, then it needs time to heal or whatever. I don't know if it could heal from like being pulled or something. Would it then go back to where it was or something? Or over body weight is relatively heavy. I think look forward, not down at feet. Yeah. It's just like if you're trying to like lift heavy, then the heaviest that you can, then what I tend to do is kind of you'll see some like weightlifters doing this kind of stuff where they would like, yeah, like you're saying like go looking forward, but what I tend to do though is this thing of like kind of where I'll bend at the knees and then I'll kind of grab the bar and then I'll actually go do this. So I'll actually kind of go like kind of, so like what do you call it, like with my knees. So you see like what happens. Sometimes you can do it like a couple of times, you know, until you feel like that moment to kind of like then pick it off the ground. But yeah, lifting with the back is what people were saying. But yeah, if you're doing like just kind of this sort of thing, that's not good. If you're going like this, kind of like a stiff leg deadlift, is that what you was doing? Like a stiff leg doing this sort of thing? Because then you're not really using your legs, apart from your hamstrings, doing it that way. But that would almost be like doing a heavy Jefferson curl. And if your back's not used to that, then that can lead to injuries. Because the Jefferson curl is basically doing this, like that. But they tend to do it with lighter weights. more of a focus on the negative in order to build strength in the lower back. I did sets of 12 to 20 in bad form. So do you think that might be like, is it, do you think it's all right to do like 1 rep with like maximal load with a somewhat bad form, or do you think that like it should always be good? Or was it the combination of just doing a bunch of like repetitive strain or something on that, with doing a bunch of sets of that, doing say like going like this, and then that was what kind of fucked it up? Because I did notice that when I was doing stuff like that and I was like barely bending at the legs when I first started doing it, and I was like, I started to feel a bit of something in my lower back, but that seems to like not happen now, at least. Like I felt like, almost felt a little bit like an electric shock kind of feeling, if you know what I mean. So that could be bad. Lower reps better, it got tired. Hot, then did heavy sets. Okay, what do you mean? I usually would do like warm-ups before going to a heavy set. Maybe that's what helped as well with say start off with like 80 kilograms or whatever weight, maybe 70 kilograms, and then go up to 100, then 120, 130, then just kind of gradually building it up to my maximum weight to just get it warmed up. And I find I can actually lift heavier doing that as well. Hello, Ralph, how you doing? I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. But yeah, they say like about bending at the, like doing it like what they call it, a hip hinge. But I tend to kind of like bend. What I'll do is I'll bend at the like that, and then kind of. But yeah, that could be considered as bad form. But if you go into like heavy weights, there's gonna be some rounding going on. Like the upper back's gonna be, because the bar is down here, then it's like, if I was to keep my back completely straight, I'd have to bend my legs down more, which is going to take more, it's going to put more stress on the legs to do that. But some argue that's bad form, but it comes down to like balance, I guess, and just kind of finding what's good for you as an individual, and what is it that makes you feel like safe or whatever. But yeah, I'm like, okay, thank you. A site called Squat University shows something about squat form and feet position. Yeah, I've seen that channel, yeah. But yeah, trying to bend your legs down into like almost like a squat position, I just find I can't seem to get the same level of power, just because my legs are in a more compromised position. And it means I can't really use my back as much. I mean, using the upper back in a deadlift is probably not really that bad. If you have some rounding to the upper back, I think it's when you round the lower back, that's where the problems tend to happen. Yeah, the deadlift, yeah. But I've also saw a channel called Eugene Teo, who's talked about saying that rounding the back is not inherently bad. It comes down to like extremes where it becomes bad, where people haven't like say adapted to that. But I don't know what to think really. I think it's bad, like I said, if you're doing stuff like this where you've got like doing that and you've got all this lumbar spine here, that's what gets the most injuries. even just doing this, you can feel like a strain there. So that trying to pull like that versus I would kind of do it more like this kind of thing. But it's kind of, you just gotta find what you can deal with, I guess. I find some like upper back bending may be necessary for like heavier reps or something, but it's not necessarily gonna build a lot of strength and muscle in the posterior chain doing it like that. Like if you want to just use good form and try and actually build muscle, then using a somewhat lighter weight. I did it yesterday at like 120 kilograms, and I just kind of try to keep my back straight. But I found it hard because I'm trying to focus on form, and I just found I couldn't seem to get as much power doing it that way. I don't know, but anyway, because what I tend to do is kind of like whatever you call it, where you just kind of bend in the knee and kind of a few times, and then I would kind of, I mean, you could just do it once. I don't know if you even need to do it multiple times, but doing that, I find then I can put some momentum into it. What? That's the vid name. All right. Okay. Deadlift with back pain evaluation and fix. Right. So have you been doing that recently then, the deadlifting or something like that? Did you have issues before going into it, or was it like something that happened as you was deadlifting or something? Was there any pre-existing issues there? Because sometimes people who had pre-existing stuff, that can then set it off. But people without, like, people who have, non-pre-existing issues, would they be less likely? I would have thought they'd be less likely to have issues, but well, your last year was fine. I guess I'd have to like look at your form and stuff and see like how bad it really was. Like, was you actually bending at the hips at all? Or was it like a stiff leg deadlift? Because that's a mistake that some people make. Well, there is a stiff legged deadlift, but it's just very hard to keep your back straight doing that. Or the lower back anyway. I actually made it so 5 years ago, but that last year pulled it badly, right? Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. I mean, so there's like the stiff, what's called a stiff-legged deadlift level, but I can't even, like, how am I supposed to do that with like a straight back? Well, I still have to bend somewhat at the legs to do that. Like, trying to think about like form and stuff like that, but if I'm trying to, but you got people doing shit like this with like their back, but it should be more like that kind of thing, but I don't know. I'm not training right now, Vinny. I'm just talking about deadlift form and stuff. But yeah, like I was talking about, keeping the lower back straight. So like, so some people do shit like this, which is not necessary, like that. So you can just pretty much like, you don't need to like bend the lower back when you're doing it, but the upper back, if I'm trying to keep that straight, my arms are in cut, so I have to then bend more. So it's just, some people say like bending the upper back is a mechanical advantage in some cases. You'll see it in heavy lifts, but kind of keeping the lower back straight or stiff is, you know, if you're trying to like, especially get to heavy weights, then anyway. Yeah, the lumbar spine can be quite weak and prone to injuries. So, yeah. I'm trying to like fix my form and improve on it. It's not perfect, but yeah. I get people critiquing it a lot and stuff, but like I'm trying. Anyway. All right, I'm gonna get going, guys. See you all later. Bye.